Ever get that feeling? Time's just slipping away faster and faster. You know, you're not alone. It's this almost universal experience. We get older and suddenly it's like, whoa, where did the years go? It's so weird, right?
Like that image of the hourglass, the sand just pouring through faster and faster as you get older.
There's a survey with people of different ages. The results were pretty striking, especially for people over 40. They consistently described their childhood years as feeling super long, like time just stretched out forever. But then they said things sped up in adulthood. And the feeling was even more pronounced when they thought about whole decades. It's like whole chunks of time just sort of disappeared.
Like entire decades compressed into a blur. I can totally relate to that.
So that sets the stage. This isn't just some random feeling. There seems to be a pattern here.
A big piece of the puzzle seems to be memory, the way we form memories and how those memories shape our perception of time.
Okay, memory. That makes sense. I mean, think about it. When you were a kid, everything was new, right? First day of school, first time riding a bike, first crush. Early life is filled with novelty, and every new experience, every first creates this rich, vivid memory. Our brains are constantly soaking up new information.
It's like our brains are on overdrive, recording everything.
And what's interesting is that the number of new memories we form directly affects how long we perceive a period of time to have been.
So the more new memories we create, the longer that period of time feels in retrospect. Because our brains are overflowing with these distinct, detailed memories, they act like milestones on our personal timeline.
The more milestones, the longer the journey feels.
More memory equals to more milestones equals to longer time. So what happens in adulthood then? Why does time seem to speed up?
While adulthood certainly isn't devoid of new experiences, we tend to settle into routines. Daily commutes, work tasks, familiar errands, these become less novel.
As a result, our brains don't encode them in the same way. We are not really creating those vivid, standout memories anymore. It all starts to blend together.
So when we try to remember those periods, they feel compressed. Almost like they've shrunk because there are fewer strong memories to mark their passage.
Like our brains are saying, we've seen this before, no need to record every detail.
Right. Our memory storage is getting more efficient. But that efficiency comes at the cost of our perception of time.
That's an interesting trade-off. So we've got fewer distinct memories in adulthood, fewer milestones, which makes time feel shorter. But isn't there also that saying, time flies when you are having fun? Does that fit into all this?
It's not just about the memories we form later. It's also about how we experience time in the present moment. And time flies when you're having fun is a perfect illustration of that. When we're deeply engaged in something, whether it's a hobby we love or a challenging project at work, our attention shifts. We become less focused on the clock, less aware of time passing.
We get so absorbed into the activity that we lose track of time.
And in those moments, time genuinely seems to speed by. Think about being lost in a good book or totally engrossed in a creative project. Hours can just vanish.
It happens to me all the time. I'll look up and be like, wait, where did the afternoon go?
So how does this relate to the feeling of time accelerating as we get older? Well, think about the typical adult life. It's often packed with responsibilities, deadlines, to-do lists. We're constantly juggling things, feeling pressured, rushing from one thing to the next. And research suggests that this constant time pressure can actually warp our perception of time, making it seem to fly by even faster.
So it's like we are so focused on getting things done, on what's next, that we are not really present in the moment. And those moments just slip away unnoticed.
We're so busy planning the future that we forget to savor the present. And it's not just the busyness. As we get older, we also tend to develop more routines.
Like that autopilot mode we go into.
Precisely. We streamline our lives. We create habits. We do things on autopilot. And while routines can be helpful, they also mean we're paying less conscious attention to what we're doing.
It's like driving the same route to work every day. You get there and you barely remember the journey.
And because we're not fully present during those routine activities, our brains don't bother encoding many new details. So when we look back, those weeks or months can feel like a blur.
They just seem to have vanished because there aren't any strong memories anchoring them.
So it's a double whammy, right? Fewer standout moments to remember from the past and less conscious awareness of the present because we're either too busy or on autopilot.
That's a pretty compelling explanation for why time seems to be speed up as we get older.
It is, but there's another layer to this. Our actual brain function changes with age, and that can impact how we perceive time. From a neuroscience perspective, there's growing evidence to support that idea. One theory focuses on the concept of an internal clock, like a biological timekeeper in our brains.
A brain clock, so our brains are actually keeping track of time.
In a sense, yes. And the speed of this internal clock is partly regulated by neurotransmitters, especially dopamine.
Dopamine, the feel-good chemical.
As we age, dopamine levels naturally decline. And some scientists believe that this decline can actually slow down the rate of our internal clock. And if our internal clock is slower, an external minute might feel shorter to an older person because their brain hasn't registered as many internal time units within that minute. Their brain is underestimating the duration of external events because their internal clock isn't ticking as fast.
That's a really intriguing idea.
It is. And then there's another fascinating perspective. This one comes from engineer Adrian Bayan. He looks at this from the angle of neural processing speed. It's basically how quickly our brains can receive and process information. And Bayan suggests that this speed slows down as we age. Our neural networks get a bit slower. He uses a really interesting analogy to explain this. He compares it to a camera's frame rate. Think about it. Infants are constantly taking in huge amounts of visual information. Their eyes are darting everywhere. So their brains are processing a really high-resolution stream of images, like a high frame rate video. And they're seeing the world in super high definition.
Right, and that could be why their days feel so long and packed with detail. Their brains are recording so much information.
But as we get older, our eye movements might become less frequent. We encounter fewer truly novel things, and our overall neural processing speed decreases. So we're experiencing life at a lower frame rate. And that means we perceive fewer unique moments within a given time period.
Because our brains are processing less information in the same amount of time, it feels like things are moving faster.
Fewer moments, faster time. And then there's the whole issue of cognitive compression. It's basically our brain's way of being efficient. Our brains are really good at adapting. When we encounter something familiar, a routine task, a familiar place, our neural response to that stimulus decreases over time.
Like our brain is saying, okay, I know this, no need to waste energy on it.
Right. And as we get older, a lot of our experiences become to some extent repetitions. So our brains start to economize. They don't process these familiar experiences as deeply.
We are not creating as many new memories.
Exactly. And this cognitive compression further contributes to the feeling that time is passing more quickly.
So to recap, we've got these neurological changes happening as we age. Our internal clocks are slowing down. Our brains are processing information less quickly. And we are not creating as many new memories because our brains are becoming more efficient. It's like a perfect storm for making time seem to fly by.
This isn't just some subjective feeling. There are real measurable changes happening in our brains that contribute to this phenomenon. This realization can be both unsettling and liberating. Unsettling because it highlights the fleeting nature of time, but also liberating because it underscores the importance of savoring the present moment.